Hi guys. Our story today that I'm going to share is one of the South Carolina nominees finally seen. It's about 10-year-old Lena, and when she steps off the plane in Los Angeles, it's her first time in America and her first time seeing her parents and her little sister in 5 years. Finally, her parents are ready for her to join their fabulous life in California. Except it's not exactly like in the postcards. School's a lot harder than she thought. When she mispronounces some words in English on the first day, she decides she simply won't talk ever again. Her chatty little sister has no problem with English and seems to do everything better than Lena, including knowing exactly the way to her parents' hearts. They live in an apartment, not a house like in Mom's letter. And they owe a lot of back rent from the pandemic, and Mom's plan to pay it back sounds a little frothy. As she reckons with her hurt, Lena tries to keep a lid on her feelings, both at home and at school. When her teacher starts facing challenges for her latest book selection, it will take all of Lena's courage and resilience to get over her fear in order to choose a future where she's finally seen. So I bet in reading this story, you're gonna notice some feelings of displacement. We kind of heard them in the back blurb: school, her belonging, and her family. And I bet you're gonna see evidence of her assimilation. But can you imagine being away from your family for 5 years and then finally reuniting with them, and how that probably feels really strange? But let's listen to the first chapter. I listened to the quiet hum of the plane and the not so quiet flutter of my heart in my chest. This is it. Another 6 hours and I will finally see my parents and my sister again. I try to picture Mom's and Dad's faces when I land, except I keep picturing Marge and Homer Simpson, but only Asian, with shorter hair and a less smart Lisa, hopefully. I guess that's what happens when you haven't seen your family in 5 years and you've watched a lot of subtitled Simpsons. I was starting to give up on the whole going to America thing until my mom called 6 weeks ago. Lau Lau told me you're doing your middle school applications, Mom said, and you're writing an essay on your parents being in America? I nodded, coiling the phone cord around my fingers. Is that not a good topic, I asked? No, she said, it's just... What are you going to say? I shrugged. I like writing, but not as much as I like drawing pictures. But art's a sure way to get kicked out of any school in Beijing, let alone Beijing Normal Middle School number 3, where I was applying. It was my Aunt Jing's middle school. She now has a fancy tech job in Shanghai. She says there's no future for artists in China. Beijing Normal would get the art out of me and turn me into a steady workhorse, just like her. Well, Mom asked. I felt a rush of heat spread across my forehead. Here was my chance to tell her how I really felt about being left behind all those years. I was only 5 years old when she left. I thought she was going on a work trip. I didn't even understand. Most of all, how could she take Millie, my baby sister, and not me? My sister got to grow up with my parents. Me? I grew up with postcards from my parents. But as usual, my voice was locked in the chamber of my throat. There are things I don't want to tell anyone, well, except Lau Lau. My grandmother, Lau Lau, is my Moon and my Wilson, like the volleyball and Castaway, another movie I binged. She is my companion in my waiting city. That's what Beijing feels like, just me and Lau Lau waiting. It used to be me, Lau Lau, and Lao Ye, but last year when Lao Ye passed away, our trio of tea leaves went down to 2. Now I am Lau Lau's human alarm clock. I wake her up every day at 6 a.m. Dumpling, steamer, poor brewer, flower waterer, and medicine fetcher. I know how much she needs me. I'm all she's got left, which is why some feelings are too hard to even tell her. Instead, I catch them and tuck them behind my cheek. Lau Lau says that's the way to succeed in China. Every morning, Lau Lau reminds me, go to school, make your parents proud, and watch your words. lest they label you a bad apple. She grew up in the era of the Cultural Revolution, and her father was thrown in jail for being a bad apple. Even though that was a long time ago, the memory of it never really left. She's always telling me to sew up half my mouth. I imagine an invisible thread running along my mouth, my lips stitched like a sock. But the thing about some feelings is they just won't go away. Instead, they form a tight ball at the base of my throat, where they sit and they wait, planning their escape from the thread. And one day, just when you least expect it, they shoot out like a rocket. That's exactly what happened that rainy Beijing spring day when Mom called. "Do you really want to go to Beijing Normal number 3? Mom asked. I looked over at my Lau Lau, craning her head eagerly to catch snippets of our conversation. She put her knitting needles down, massaging her hand. Her arthritis had gotten so much worse since Lao Yu passed. She could hardly keep knitting. The doctors in China had warned her that this day would come. They told her to do more acupuncture, to get out and exercise. But Lao Lao was born the year of the ox. She does not like anyone telling her what to do. I turned away from Lao Lao, held the phone closer to my face, and cupped a hand around my mouth. "No," I whispered. "I want to go to school in America. Please, Mama, I want to come." And with that, I chose my future over my past. So in just reading that little bit, I can definitely tell there's going to be themes of belonging. There's going to be themes of like resentment. It sounds like she is pretty upset with her parents for leaving her behind. I think she's going to struggle with that displacement that we know so many immigrants have to deal with when they move to another country. My hope is that we're going to see evidence of assimilation as she becomes more comfortable in the United States. And it sounds like that we're going to get some history on what life was like or is like in China. So you hear mention of the Cultural Revolution, you hear mention of acupuncture, and some of their priority with academics over creativity. So I think if you want to explore those themes and learn a little bit more about Chinese culture, and then that cultural combining of the two cultures, United States and China, then this would be the book for you.